Welcome to the Age Hack, a longevity lifestyle podcast. As always, I'm here with the lovely Fiona.
Hey, Paul.
Today, we're talking about Bryan Johnson's crazy supplement regime, whether collagen works or not, as well as a local longevity legend from Perth, West Australia.
Can't wait.
Excellent. As always, make sure you check out the Age Hack online or check us out on Instagram at the Age Hack _pod. You ready to go?
Let's get stuck in.
Let's do it.
I've been having the best sleeps recently, Paul. We went to the Farmer Jack's on Canning Highway.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, and we picked up some sour, is it tart or sour cherry juice?
Yeah, tart cherry, sour cherry, same thing.
Yeah, and we haven't had it for years I don't think I've had it since we had health food stores.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, which was a little while ago now.
Well, it would be over 7 years now.
Yeah, and we used to have a guy that came in and was selling sour cherry juice years ago.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and so I saw it at the markets and I remember that it was good for sleep. And I thought, give that a go. And yeah, it's with a little bit of soda. It's such a nice little nightcap.
It's delicious too.
Yeah. I thought you could maybe tell us how it works.
Well, tart cherry or sour cherry, usually the studies are done on the Montmorency tart cherry, which is in America. So that's the famous one. But the right type of cherry will contain trace amounts of melatonin, which is the hormone in our brain that signals it's ready to go to sleep and to get you asleep. So it doesn't necessarily keep you asleep, but it signals it's time to sleep.
Yeah, I think we've talked about melatonin on the podcast before. So yeah, and we used it recently actually coming back from America.
Yeah, that's right.
And I had zero jet lag.
It really works, yeah. So it resets that circadian rhythm, so it tells the body, okay, now's the time to sleep. So with the tart cherry, it contains some of that ingredient naturally. And it's a natural way to get melatonin in because there's some positives and negative sort of viewpoints on melatonin.
Yeah.
You know, people say, well, if you put foreign melatonin in, then the body will stop producing it itself and you get, differing opinions. But the Montmorency tart cherry or just the right type of tart cherry naturally occurring melatonin is fine.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything negative after I stopped taking, this wasn't the cherry juice, but when we're coming back from America, that was the gummies.
Yeah.
But I only use them for a couple of days just to get my circadian rhythm back and then
that's
just on the magnesium and
yeah, that's right. Well, that's one of the biggest causes of jet lag is to mess with your circadian rhythm and you don't fall asleep and you don't get a good sleep. So melatonin can do that.
You get that horrible, I always get that horrible nauseousness where you feel like it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you're awake and your body is just what's going on? Yeah. But we didn't know if that tart cherry juice would work because, compared to the old tart cherry juice, which is like $30 a bottle, this was only $15 for the organic cherry juice, but it seems to still work. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. We just ran out and they didn't have any.
We've just changed brands to a smaller bottle to see if it'll work.
Actually, yes, we did. We picked up a little one, but I just thought, something nice to put in my soda, but I think it did work.
I think it does, although you could also be the carbohydrate / naturally occurring sugar content, which will help with...
Did it have a lot of sugar in it?
Not a lot, but a little bit. Fruit will contain a little bit of sugar. And if you're drinking the juice in a decent amount, it sort of adds up. But that might help with serotonin production, which can lead to better sleep through melatonin too. So it could be working with both. It could be working with one or the other.
Yeah.
But it's working.
Oh, I enjoyed it. And it's quite affordable, an affordable way to get a little bit of a natural sleep remedy.
Yeah. So if someone wants to improve their sleep, or definitely if they're struggling to get to sleep, give tart cherry a go.
At your local Farmer Jack's.
Try go organic too if you can.
Was the one we bought organic?
I think it was.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
Very good.
Cool.
All right, Paul. We jump into our Blue Zone Wisdom of the Week.
Excellent. Blue Zone time. Let's go.
Yeah, so we're going back to Singapore.
Okay, yep.
Yep, so a manufactured Blue Zone 2.0, the newest addition to the list of Blue Zones.
And so just the reason you call it manufactured is instead of just a natural lifestyle that just led to longevity, it's something that the government has put together, probably without realising that it would cause longevity, and it is.
Yeah, I think that they've probably implemented things that they thought, would create a healthy lifestyle for their society, but they've the reason it's manufactured is that they've increased their life expectancy by 35 years since 1965.
Wow, that's ridiculous. Geez, what was it at 1965? It must have been pretty low.
Must have been pretty low, yeah. But it's the thing that I wanted to chat about today, which last time we talked about the multi-generational living and how that's reflected across a couple of the blue zones. But the thing that I wanted to talk about today was their nutrition. Because when you look across the different blue zones, the traditional diets are kind of similar. You know, it's all locally grown, it's often organic, it's largely plant-based, but I imagine Singapore would be quite different.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think nutrition plays such a massive role in longevity and reducing inflammation and this kind of thing. It's like, well, what are they eating that's, you know, allowing them to have this longer lifespan?
Right. I mean, I would assume it would be lots of rice and noodles because we go there all the time. Lots of meat as well. So,
a little bit of meat. Yeah,
a little bit of meat.
It's also
lots of chicken.
Really multicultural and varied. You know, they've got the hawkers. The one thing that I sort of like popped into my head as to like the healthiness of the diet was that, you know, they've got a lot of hawker centres in Singapore, which are obviously affordable. Really, really varied cuisine. And the one thing that sort of stood out to me and popped into my head is they're probably eating a lot less prepackaged food than the Western diet. And, you know, maybe there's less preservatives and it's fresh produce and that kind of thing. What do you think?
It's hard to know, actually. You know, we go over there, but only for a few days at a time. And yeah, it's always, we don't really eat packet food, do we? So we'll have lots of noodles and rice and meats. But yeah, it's hard to know. Maybe they aren't using as many of the nasties in their food.
And I think they also eat a lot of food that's high in different things like collagen and...
They do. They have some different
like
sort of
broths
sources.
And soups and
fish more and things like that. And they eat a lot of the parts of the animal that we don't eat.
That we would discard,
tripe or intestine and things like that. It's on the menu, whereas you wouldn't find it usually in Western countries.
And I think just the Asian diet in particular, depending which, you know, country you go from, I think is just so nourishing. You know, they eat like a lot of warm food and it's very nourishing and with the collagens and the soups and I think it's super healthy. It's just unfamiliar to us.
They also have a lot more education around what they ate and when and how it affects the body. So, you know, you'll never hear of an Australian saying something like, oh, this food is very heaty, for example. But, you know, they'll say, oh, you know, this fruit, durian, for example, creates a lot of heat in the body. We don't talk like that in Australia. So maybe they know a lot about food that we don't.
Yeah, and I think in some of their broths and soups, they use different herbal ingredients, that kind of thing as well.
They even say, this is a medicinal soup. You drink it, it just tastes amazing. You don't think it's medicine, but they call it a medicinal soup.
Yeah, there's. I think there's a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge there that we're very ignorant of. One of the other things that they have is there's one of the leaders in the longevity or in the seniors longevity scene over there, Dr. Wong. One of his favourite initiatives was Share a Pot, where the volunteers bought discounted vegetables and did like a cooking of like a soup or something like this and then share it with the seniors in the area. And they would bring them together to have a free meal, do some exercise, have a health checkup. And she said that we didn't focus on their frailty, we focused on what was strong in them, and we emphasised dignity, not charity, for the seniors that were participating.
Excellent. Yeah. Again, instilling that purpose. Yeah. Not that they needed this, but it was dignifying. Yeah.
I had a few notes because they've done like a little bit of research on the diet there in Singapore. And a few of the things which I found interesting was there is a higher consumption of grain and grain-based products.
Okay, you'd assume that would be rice.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right, that makes sense then. And then fish and seafood. That makes sense. And bakery products, which I thought was interesting.
And they do have some delicious croissants.
They do. And so that was among individuals aged 75 years and above.
Okay.
And it was coupled with a lower consumption of meat.
Right, so still less meat. Okay. Interesting. That seems to be a theme along all the blue zones.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick scan through some of the top sort of things that people are enjoying. Lots of soy, lots of herbs, ginger, garlic, onion, chili. Surprised to see vegetable oil was quite high.
Yeah, okay. Well, we know that's not a good thing.
Yeah, mushrooms and then seafood, lots of tea.
See, there might be something in that as well.
Yeah.
Lots of tea. We talked about that on a previous episode.
Yeah, I found it quite interesting sort of, well, you know, how do you manage healthy nutrition in a new blue zone? What does it look like and in kind of like this metropolis?
Yeah, that's right. There's not a lot of space, you know, it's highly populated, very dense. Not a lot of
agriculture, maybe.
Agricultural.
Well, they do okay with
maybe a bit, but there's not a lot of greenery. They put a lot of greenery on their buildings.
Yeah,
in fact.
yeah. And actually, that hotel that we stayed in, they had they were growing their own produce there.
Yeah, that's
Remember
right.
that?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for the Blue Zone Wisdom of the Week. Just exploring sort of what nutrition looks like in Singapore.
Yeah, the new manufactured Blue Zone.
Yeah, how they make it work.
All right, so are we ready to chat about our favourite, or, you know, one of our favourites? You know, we've got to give an honourable mention to Dr. David Sinclair, but one of our favourite longevity experts, Bryan Johnson.
Yeah, let's get stuck into it.
What do you want to chat about with Bryan today?
Well, I mean, he's been doing his Blueprint longevity protocol for a couple of years now. I think he's probably running at about 3.5 years. And I found some information from when he was celebrating 2 years of doing the Blueprint protocol and statistics of, I guess, where he's ranking for certain metrics.
Okay.
I thought you'd be interested.
Longevity metrics?
Yeah. So he's in the top 1% for the speed of aging.
Okay.
He's in the top 1% for muscle mass and function.
Really?
Yeah.
Because we met him, you know, a couple of months ago. He didn't look that muscular.
Could be, but I think
it might be ratio.
Sometimes muscle is deceiving, right? Because muscle can be 3 times as dense without changing in size.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So, you know, sometimes you get that like old man muscle, not calling him an old man at all, but you get that old man muscle and it's just...
Well, he's pushing 50 now, right? Getting close.
Yep.
But then didn't they say he tried to do something with his own body fat and to put it in his own face or something recently, and he didn't have enough, so he had to use a donor's fat. So maybe it's just the ratio. He's super lean, which means he probably has a lot of muscle.
Yeah, well, that's the next one. He's top 1% for fat mass. So I think in the leanest, among some of the leanest in the world. But what were you saying? He put fat in his face? I didn't catch that.
No, okay. So he was trying a new modality and he couldn't get any fat from his body. So he had to, because he was so lean, he had to get a donor and he injected it into his face. He had an allergic reaction and he blew up like he was stung by a bee. Everything went puffy and he was putting photos up and he looked terrible.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Probably caused enough inflammation, got more blood flow. Maybe it helped in the long run, but yeah, it didn't work out for him. I think he was in a lot of pain and it was quite unsightly. This was just in the last few weeks.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, that's what you get when you donate your body to science, right?
I would inject someone else's
animal.
fat into my face.
What if it was your twin brothers?
Well, genetically we're pretty similar. Maybe that would be okay.
Top 1% for inflammation.
Okay.
Top 1% for cardiovascular. Top 1% bone mass. Top 1% sleep. Top 1% combined clinical markers.
Is he only giving us the top 1% or is he literally just top 1% for everything?
He is, yeah.
I want to hear what he's only top 2% in.
Actually, I might have a bit more. I've got a lot of stats here.
Okay, keep going. I won't interrupt.
Top 1% nighttime erections.
He loves that.
He talks about that a lot.
He does.
I don't really get the significance of that. Is it just saying that, my hormonal profile is healthy?
Yeah, that's right. Good levels of natural testosterone at 48 years of age.
Yeah. Just having a look. Perfect liver fat. Accumulating aging damage slower than 88% of 18-year-olds. Oh, I thought you would like this. His bench press. Do you want to have a guess at his single rep max? Or do you know it?
No, I have no clue. Like I said, we saw him. He didn't look that strong.
But I know that you're going to use your mathematician brain and you're going to get this off the bat, and
I'm
it's not
going
going to be
guess
any fun.
It's 105, and that's probably too high, but I'm actually bumping that up.
You're speaking in kilograms?
In kilograms.
Change that to pounds for me.
230-ish.
His bench press single rep max is 240.
Oh, so I was pretty close.
I'm so good at this.
Wow. Okay. So that's about 110 kilos.
Yeah. Is that impressive? I don't know.
It's pretty high. Yeah. So I back in the day I got to 130, but I don't think I can do 110 now. I'd probably get close to 100. My twin brother, at his best, when he was 63 kilos, he managed to bench press 140.
Yeah, right.
So that was
that's up there.
That's up there. Yeah.
But I mean, you guys also. So how long ago was that?
That would have been 2015, I think.
Yeah, but the two of you have been doing like 100 push-ups a day for the last however long.
Yeah.
Several months. And Dr. David Sinclair does that too. 100 push-ups a day.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So you guys might surprise yourself. You've been putting the work into the muscle.
I still can't hit my 10 kilometres a day though.
Oh, the run?
The run, yeah.
Does David Sinclair do that?
No, but One Punch Man does that.
Okay. Is he a longevity expert?
Well, I think he'll live for a while. If any of you know what I'm talking about, I'm very impressed.
I would be surprised. Okay. So the protocol, his blueprint protocol, he discloses everything free of charge. So I will include a link to some of his resources in the blog.
Excellent.
Because I think that's interesting.
People will want to know.
Quickly scanning through, he does eat a plant-based diet, and I know he's got some different recipes, so I'll share a couple of those as well. But supplements is what blew me away, and I'm actually going to hand this over to you. I think that this has changed, and I think that he's created some custom formulas where he combines a lot of this stuff. But there's like 100 different supplements that he was using at the time. Have a read through that, maybe pull out a couple of the key ones that you think are interesting.
Wow, that list is so big, I don't think I should go through them all.
No, you couldn't.
Wow, okay, some really cool ones. So astaxanthin, which is what creates the pink colour in salmon and what turns flamingos pink.
I know something about astaxanthin.
Yeah, great for your skin. It's a natural sunscreen as well.
Yeah, it's natural SPF, internal SPF.
But it's a very effective, strong antioxidant. So really good at scavenging free radicals, which in turn will help with aging. B complex, as you would assume, broccoli max to get rid of the toxic estrogens in the system. Vitamin C, CoQ10,
Vitamin
D3.
C is that just for immunity?
It would be for immunity. It also helps with collagen production as well.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
It also helps blunt cortisol to a degree. So it has a lot of functions. You've got DHEA for healthy testosterone production, lots of omega-3s, garlic, iodine to get his thyroid going. I'm skipping a lot of these as well.
Yeah, that's okay.
We have spermidine, which we've talked about on the show.
Yes.
Really good for autophagy, getting rid of bad cells. Turmeric for anti-inflammation. Taurine to help absorb it all. We've got zinc, really important in dozens of bodily functions, and we don't get enough zinc, so that's really important. Wow, okay. This just keeps going. Melatonin as well before bed. Extra virgin olive oil, 30 mils daily. Now, you always want the peppery stuff.
30 mils, what's that, two tablespoons?
2 tablespoons a day.
Yep.
He uses pea protein to get his protein levels up.
That's interesting.
Aspirin 3 times a week at only 81 milligrams, so we're talking baby strength.
Yeah. David Sinclair's doing that as well, by the way.
As well, yeah. Yep.
We know benefits of that.
Rapamycin, very popular.
What's rapamycin?
That is another ingredient they talk about for longevity. The science is a bit large. We'll leave that one for now, but it's just interesting that it's in there.
Okay.
And I think that I've only mentioned half. Of course, you've got metformin.
I don't think you've mentioned half. I think you've mentioned it maybe
probably
a quarter.
He's got metformin. He's got nicotinamide riboside. Interestingly, only 375 milligrams.
That's bugger all.
Well, yeah, compared to 1,000 milligrams of NAD for Dr. David Sinclair, that seems quite low, but that's what he's written.
Yep.
N-acetylcysteine at 1,800 milligrams as well. So
we haven't talked much about N-acetylcysteine.
Creates glutathione in the system, which is an amazing antioxidant. It does a lot of other things as well in the body.
Because I've been putting it into my liv.
Yeah.
I do liv, beta-alanine and N-acetylcysteine.
Yeah, so really it is a really good anti-aging. But
what's glutathione do?
So glutathione is one of the major antioxidants in the human body, and so a lot of people will take it straight, but we don't get a great absorption. So the guys in the know will take N-acetylcysteine to get more glutathione in the system. And I'm just scrolling back a little bit here because you've also got glucosamine, so he's looking after his joint health as well. Yeah, so he wants to stay mobile. If he's going to live to 200 years of age, he probably wants to be able to use those joints and not wear them out. Amazing. So he'll also take the broccoli a few times per day. Hyaluronic acid as well.
Oh,
which is
really?
Clinically shown to reverse wrinkles. That and retinol on the skin at least.
Also very good for your joints. How much does it say? How much hyaluronic acid he's taking?
Yeah, he's taking 300 milligrams with dinner.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Interesting. Wow, huge regime there.
I think he would probably rattle when he walks.
Yeah, like a maraca. Lycopene for health. Lithium's an interesting one. And I'm not too sure if that's actually the drug for mood elevation or whatnot, but interesting. All right. Okay. Hope you got something out of that, guys. Just listing off ingredients. Hopefully they resonated with you.
Crazy amount of stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll post this on the blog as well.
Check out the blog, guys.
So
you're going to get a lot of good stuff.
And maybe I'm not sure how ambitious I'm feeling, but maybe I'll try and link studies for all of them too.
Well, that is ambitious.
That is a bit ambitious.
Yeah, there's a lot of, because there's so many things.
I know. All right. All right, Paul, what's your favourite segment of the podcast episode?
Talk about supplements.
I'm going to talk about supplements. So I thought today we could put a bit of a spotlight on collagen and talk about why is it controversial?
Okay.
Whether or not it works, and why we mentioned briefly just before taking it with vitamin C, or how vitamin C helps with collagen production.
So it's controversial because some people say you can't absorb it. It's a little bit of bro science there. When you take the full unadulterated strand of collagen, then yes, the body can't really absorb it. It has to break it down into smaller amino acids to use as a macronutrient. So
is there anyone though actually selling that? Like any brands actually selling just unadulterated plain collagen?
They do, yeah. So basic collagen, and then people think they're buying this for hair, skin and nails, or they're buying it for their joints, etc. And it's not going to do anything.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, protein is made up from a long peptide strand, and the body sees it, needs to break it down, and then use it. And so that big original collagen strand, the body can't use. Now, there are patented forms of collagen that have been broken up with specific enzymic baths, and it gives them a special peptide profile that actually can cause a result in the body. Now, those are the collagens that are effective. So when people turn around and blanketly say, no, collagens don't work, they just don't understand the science. They get the basic form of collagen doesn't work. They don't know. They haven't gone down the rabbit hole of the peptide structure of these enzymically washed collagens. So to explain it, for example, Gelita, which is a German company, they have factories all over the world. They make a collagen called Verisol. And so the way that they make these collagens is they don't know what's going to happen. So they get these specific enzymes in the certain ratios, and they'll call it bath 1, and then they'll do it again for bath 2, and they'll change the enzymic profile. And they will use this bath to break up the collagen into different peptides that they don't know what's going to be created.
Okay.
Once they get these peptides, they then have an environment to test them on the human body to see if they evoke a response. And they can luck in with some special enzymically bathed collagens that will cause a response in the body. So, for example, Verisol was clinically shown to reduce wrinkles on the face in a double-blind placebo study with 114 females over 2 months. It reversed wrinkles on the face by over 20%. So that's not with over 20% of users. It's all the users on average saw a reduction of more than 20.1 in fact percent reduction in wrinkles on the face.
And that was at 2.5 grams, wasn't it?
2.5 grams for 60 days.
It's not a lot.
Yeah, so it's not a lot. Yeah, that's right. And so someone might take that and go, oh yeah, okay, I'm taking collagen for joints. Well, Verisol wasn't clinically shown to do anything for joints.
Right. So then that's when you need something like Tendefort, or is that even the wrong one?
Well, Tendefort will help with tendons.
Yeah.
Fortigel and Fortibone will help with joints and bones.
Oh, okay.
They evoke different responses in the body. One of my favorite collagens is Body Balance. So even though collagen is low in leucine, and leucine is being seen to be the amino acid that turns on the muscle rebuilding pathway, the hormonal pathway called the mTOR pathway. So what's high in leucine is whey protein. So whey protein is touted as the most anabolic of protein sources because it's really high in leucine.
Meaning muscle building.
Muscle building and muscle repairing. They found even though this special Body Balance collagen was lower in leucine than whey protein, it was more efficacious because it turned on the mTOR pathway more than a high leucine loaded whey. It just had that response. So people, when they understand, okay, certain collagens can do certain things when they're patented and tested, when they've been broken down into small peptide structures that will elicit a response in the body, will know they do work, and they work very well.
Yeah. I noticed a difference when I took the Body Balance.
Yeah.
And Verisol as well. But if we're speaking about that for like muscle recovery, because you can actually feel a difference.
You do. You're less sore the next day. You haven't worked out less hard.
Yeah.
If you're less sore, you've just recovered more. Funnily enough, it also turns on the AMPK pathway more effectively than other products.
Which is your fat burning.
Which is fat burning. So you can actually burn fat and produce muscle recovery and heal fascia, because it's really good for fascia healing with Body Balance. How does it do this? So people are of the incorrect impression that the peptide structures become that tissue. So you've got this collagen peptide that's been broken up into a certain structure that's really good for healing the face, or really good for healing the muscle or the bone or the joint. It's not. It actually is mimicking deficiency in the body. So these peptide structures tell the body, hey, there's something wrong with the skin on your face. There's something wrong with your... no, that sounds pretty rough. There's something wrong with your muscles. There's something wrong with your joints, and it evokes the body's own healing response to those areas.
It's kind of like getting a corky.
I mean, that's an interesting way to put it. I wouldn't put it exactly like that.
But like, you get a bruise.
Yeah.
And then your body floods that area with healing.
Well, okay,
No?
yeah, all right.
No, not wrong.
It needs to heal that area. It's mimicking a deficiency. So I guess, yeah.
So it's kind of saying
it's
like,
mimicking
there's
injury.
Wrong over here, and
We need healing, yeah, and that's what it's doing.
Yeah.
So now that people have heard the science and understand, they can maybe say, okay, we won't say all collagens are amazing, but we certainly won't say that
none of them work.
Baseline collagen won't do a lot for the body apart from give it a macronutrient of protein for the body to then use the way it sees fit for that macronutrient. When we've got specialized collagen enzymically broken down into specific peptides that mimic injury and deficiency, then we can get an amazing result. So just make sure when you're buying a collagen, speak to someone or do your own research to which ones work.
And which one you need.
Yeah.
I also think the people that are like the naysayers on collagen, it's like knowledge is power, and we can just keep that knowledge for them, and then in 15 years we can be like, ha, look at us.
Yeah.
Look how fabulous we look.
With the Verisol collagen, so that's the one for the face, the clinical dose is 2.5 grams. I take about 15 grams a day. So I'm
Paul,
like 6xing it.
Maximum effort.
That's right. Yeah. Body Balance, I'll still take, the clinical dose of between 16 and 18 grams.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to know that. And so education here is king, and hopefully it makes a difference with people. And
did you mention vitamin C?
Vitamin C will help the body absorb it.
Yeah.
There's I won't get into it, but there's certain things inside the cells which create collagen. Vitamin C is an important role in that. So if we don't have enough vitamin C, we can't synthesize our own collagen. It just doesn't work. It's called the fibroblast. But yeah, so that is what creates collagen. And so we need vitamin C, and we need the right environment for the body to help heal. And so getting the right collagens in can provide some of those base ingredients for the fibroblast to work, as long as we've got the other conditions like vitamin C present. And then people can also benefit from the fact that they might take a whey protein after training and get bloated.
Yeah.
Whey protein, I love whey protein, don't get me wrong, but it's not suitable for everyone. It's also quite acidic to the body.
Yeah.
And particularly for people, cancer patients that can't eat and need to boost their protein levels so they're not losing too much weight. Ideally, we don't want an acidic environment because that's where cancer can proliferate. So collagen is alkaline, so it's the opposite of acidic. It's also very effective.
Well, it helps to build the stomach and protect the stomach, doesn't it?
It gives us the base ingredients for that.
Yeah.
As well as having no allergens. So, there's no milk sugars like lactose, which will occur in whey protein, etc. And then plant protein is still great. It's not as effective as whey protein because of the amino acid profile. However, it still can cause gastrointestinal upset with some of the lectins, etc. in there.
Yeah.
So,
doesn't taste as good either.
No, it can be grassy and grainy.
Yeah.
Whey and collagen are a lot more palatable. So for me, I don't take whey protein or plant protein anymore.
Just
I'll
use
take
collagen.
Collagen protein. And, even though it is animal-based, they'll get it from their tendons and the ligaments of bovine, so cows usually.
Yeah.
But it's quite ethical because they don't kill the cows just for that. The cows are already being used for the meat, and so it's
like
actually
a waste product.
it's a waste product
production.
that they're repurposing.
Yeah.
So it's in a way it's a bit ethical because it's using all the
like
animal
nose to tail.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a great alternative, and it's only to me beneficial. So I won't have the other two. I'll only have collagen protein and reap the benefits from that.
I'll just quickly summarize because I feel like we've talked about it quite a bit.
Yeah, we've gone quite scientific.
We have. So in summary, collagen does work.
Yes.
It's important to make sure that you're getting a collagen specifically treated for your goal.
Yes.
Whether it's skin or muscle recovery or joint health, whatever it is. You can speak to someone about that. If you're taking collagen, it's good to use it with vitamin C to help with the effectiveness. And I will give a little product shout out as well because the Age Hack have got a great marine collagen, which is the Verisol that you're talking about. It's been shown to reduce wrinkles by 20%.
Yes.
So,
and they're one of the only guys that add in the vitamin C
with the added vitamin C,
pharmaceutical grade vitamin C, to get the combination at the same time, which is when you need it.
So that product's called CGN. So
CGN.
I'll include that in the resources for this episode. Awesome. Thanks, Paul. All right, Paul. Final segment of the podcast. We get to talk about a longevity legend. And as you mentioned in the intro, today we're chatting about Colleen Kluwen, who's a homegrown hero from Perth here in WA.
I just did the intro. I have no clue who Colleen is. So I'm excited as all of you guys right now. Who is Colleen?
She's 80 years old. She's recently been inducted into the WA Women's Hall of Fame, and they call her Australia's Jane Fonda. You know who Jane Fonda, the aerobics instructor?
She was, the aerobics instructor.
Yeah, so right. She's an aerobics instructor, and she teaches step classes. Have you ever seen a step class or done a step class?
I've definitely seen one. I think I might have done one before.
They're pretty hard work.
Oh my goodness. Classes kill me.
Yeah, super high energy. Mm-hmm. I know that you've done a Les Mills body pump class before. Was that with your brother?
It was, yeah. And a friend who was taking it. Because we were doing weights and we were in a class of, boys. skinny girls. We said, oh, look, they're lifting 30 kilos. We're going to go to 50 kilos. And she said, no, put the weights down. And we said, no, we can handle this. Look at it. Within 5 minutes, Nick and I were on the floor gasping and everyone else was just pumping it out. We had to sit the rest of it out. Those women were so fit.
It's so strong.
And it's got nothing to do with how much weight you can lift. Short term, you need stamina, which we certainly didn't have.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny.
It was quite embarrassing. She made us go to the front of the class. She said, if you're going to leave those weights on, you've got to stay at the front of the class. And we had a lot of laughs and we paid for it.
Oh man.
That's at our expense. We weren't laughing.
That's amazing. So that's sort of what Colleen does.
Okay.
So she's a real pioneer in aerobics and calisthenics, and she was inducted into the WA Women's Hall of Fame in 2024.
Right.
Yeah, she's been doing it for a long time. So in the 1960s, she was bringing calisthenics and aerobics into WA. And I'm just reading through what I've got here. She also developed the instructor training programs. So basically leading the aerobics movement here on the West Coast.
Wow.
And
I remember my mum used to do it in the 80s and the 90s. So I'm wondering if she pioneered that because it was so popular there.
Yeah. That's it. I wonder if your mum was ever taught by Colleen at one point or another. But look, I just think that it's amazing. You know, she's 80 years of age, and she's still teaching. So she's teaching her Super Step class at Gym Tonic in Kalamunda. And it combines Reebok Step aerobics with dance and athletic movements for an engaging cardio workout. Yeah, so just an amazing local longevity legend.
One of our
Colleen.
Perth zone. Amazing.
Yeah, and I think might have a video of her, like a small section of her doing one of her classes. So I'll share that as well.
I hope it's recent.
Yeah, well, this is all in 2024 and she's still teaching. So, yeah, she's doing really well. And, you know, I always like to wrap up with a quote. So I do have a quote here from Colleen. And she said, in regards to her teaching and doing step and aerobics, she said, "The day I wake up and don't want to get out of bed is the day I will hang up my runners, but I can't imagine life without it." And the final thing that she said sort of about longevity and health is use it or lose it.
Absolutely. We've talked a lot about that.
Yeah.
Good on you, Colleen.
Yeah.
Spread the message.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening to the Age Hack podcast.
Thanks, guys.
So next week we'll be back. We'll be chatting a little bit about the pace of living in a blue zone. And we'll also be talking about the world's oldest ballerina.
All right.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Catching up with what Dr. David Sinclair's been up to lately.
His turn. Excellent.
Yeah. So be sure to tune in and be sure to check out the Age Hack online. And follow us on Instagram at the agehack_pod, where we share snippets from the podcast, quotes, and all sorts of bits and pieces. And shoot us a message if you like the episode.
Thanks, guys. We'll chat to you soon.